Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Hey now. Hey now, hey now, hey now. Hey now. Hey now, and hey now. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Line Talk 99.5 and talk995.com. Glad you are here because I think you're awesome. I think y'all are awesome, and I love you. And I think
Oh,
you're a
that's
great
really
person.
heartfelt. You're very transparent. I like that.
I want the audience to know I love them. And we really do, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't get to have cool jobs like this.
You're correct.
You know?
You're absolutely correct about that, Andrew.
John Bird would probably be in a retirement home, and I would probably be working in.
What the hell? Why do you always do that?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like,
I'd be in a retirement home?
Yeah, maybe you'd be working at one.
What?
Yeah, maybe you'd be like a janitor at one, and then I would probably be working in like industrial supply sales or something.
Why do you get a better job than me?
Nah, it's not I've worked it. It's not better. It's not fun. I never want to go back to that. But you're missing the point. You're missing the forest for the trees, John Bird.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say here is that we are two incredibly lucky individuals.
Yes, definitely.
And that we are getting to live the dream by doing this show and doing the podcasting and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a good place to be. I'm grateful today. I think that's what it is.
That's good.
I think I'm grateful today.
It's good to be grateful.
I'm also grateful for our many business partners like Noto Roofing, who is just love me some Noto Roofing. Chris and Sammy and Matt and all those guys, just great partners on this show. And they do such a great service for you guys. If y'all want to get in touch with them to get your roof inspected, again, more storms over the weekend, I always encourage you to just allow bad weather to remind you to get that free roof inspection and roof tune-up, because if you haven't done it in a long time, it's not you got nothing to lose by getting it inspected, because it's 100% free with no strings attached. They're not going to inspect your roof, give you a tune-up, and then bill you later. They're not going to pressure you into using them. They're just going to tell you, hey, this is what you got going on, and if you want us to fix it, we'll fix it. If you need some time to think about it, and then call us back. If you want us to do it and help you file the insurance claim, we'll absolutely do that. They work with these insurance companies every day, so they got your back. You just got to reach out to them and tell them Andrew Mclain sent you. 205-848-2299. That's 848-2299 at notoroofing.com. notoroofing.com. So there was a final police report on Hulk Hogan's cause of death. And this has been a very interesting one for us, because our friend Todd Clem, Bubba the Love Sponge, who was best friends with Hulk Hogan for a very long time and still has a relationship with Brooke, his daughter, who has been on his show recently. We've kind of, those of us that had listened to Bubba for a long time, we kind of saw a side of Hogan that most people didn't see, which was like the real life Hulk Hogan, because he would come on the show, he would call in. It was especially during a period of time when he was divorcing Linda and going through a really tough time. And also watch the fallout from all of that. The Hogan sex tape, how he suffered from that, and just all the stuff. So I've really followed this story, and there had been, rumors that what played a role in his death was, in fact, on the political side, too, for Hogan. He was at the 2024 RNC as a speaker. He had spoken up as a MAGA guy, supporting Trump and all that kind of stuff. But there were rumors that, and most of these rumors came from Bubba, who has plenty of inside sources, that there was a lot of drug use because of the tremendous amount of pain that he was going through with the fentanyl and all the stuff that the doctors had given him. And, he said that at one point he stopped because they were giving him so much, but who knows if that was or wasn't introduced back in Hulk Hogan's life. And if it was, it could have prompted a heart attack or whatever. Then there's a lot of questions surrounding, the fact that there were staff on hand when he allegedly died, like nurses or home health nurses or whatever. And the death doesn't make a lot of sense. There's just a lot of questions that's surrounding it. But now, after an 11-month investigation, which, by the way, John Bird, has been 11 months since Hulk Hogan died.
Really?
It doesn't seem that long.
Knocking on the door of a year.
The Clearwater Police Department has released its final 72-page report on the death of Hulk Hogan. The conclusion says no foul play, no criminal wrongdoing, exclusively natural causes. So that's what the police have come up with. Is that the case? I'm not necessarily saying there was foul play. I just don't think we're getting the full story on his death. Also, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't his wife involved in Scientology in some way?
I believe at some point, yes.
Or her parents were high up in the Church of Scientology? He wasn't. He was a Christian. Hogan was. In his later years, he had, I think, rededicated his life and all that kind of stuff. But his wife, Sky, has Church of Scientology ties. And I think that, first off, Church of Scientology does some weird stuff, right? And especially when it comes to money and when it comes to people trying to leave the church. Like, they will threaten you. They will stalk you. They will kill your dog, the kind of stuff you see in movies. And not that the Church of Scientology had anything to do with it, but I don't think you could completely rule that out. I just don't trust that it was just simply he had a grabber and kicked the bucket. And maybe it's just my conspiracy brain going wild, but I find that fascinating. And I don't know. And Brooke feels the same way. His daughter, Brooke Hogan, feels the exact same way about it. I think she's got a lot of questions. And there was, I watched I don't know if you've watched it yet, John Bird, the Hogan documentary on Netflix. I have not. I've
got it on my watch list. I need to watch it.
You need to watch it, but it does not, while it's interesting, it does not cover the story of Hogan's later years as it should have. It brings up the sex tape, but they don't even mention Bubba in any of it. They don't go into details on the sex tape. They don't talk about who was the culprit in all this. You can say the culprit's Hogan, because he's the one that did it. But who stole the tape, who tried to sell it, who shopped it around, tried to sell it to TMZ and all these other outlets before landing on Gawker. Like, that's the story that needs to be told. And it is told in one documentary that's on Amazon, Amazon Prime, Amazon Video or whatever, called Video Killed the Radio Star. If you have not watched that and you're interested in the Hogan stuff, dude, watch that documentary. That is a good one. There was another one Trish and I just finished watching. It was a documentary, but it was what do you call a documentary that's done by actors? A
docudrama.
An autobiography film?
No, autobiography would be about a specific person. Is done by, like, You know, for instance, if you wanted to do a documentary about yourself, it'd be an autobiography.
If I wanted to make the movie,
Yeah.
so if I'm the director, producer of the movie, it's an autobiography.
Usually it's in written form.
But what do you call a biography about someone that's played by somebody else?
A movie.
Just a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be just a movie, but if you had someone acting out parts, but you still had some interviews and things like that, that's called a docudrama.
No, just strictly, no interviews, just strictly acting.
No. Yeah, just like...
to represent the story of a person.
Yeah, just like the Freddie Mercury movie, you know, with Rami Malek. That is considered a movie. It's not a biography because it's not necessarily, doesn't usually deal in facts. They'll take some creative license. So it would be just a movie.
So we watched The Iron Claw, which was, I think, came out in 2023.
Was that good?
Oh, my gosh, dude. You need to watch it. You need to watch it tonight. It's about the Von Erich family.
Yeah.
And I knew the Von Erich family, which was a family of wrestlers.
Tragic, man.
I knew they had dealt with tragedy, but I don't think I think I had forgotten over time how deep it was. You know, it was a family of 4 brothers. Well, really 5 brothers. One that passed away at a very young age. But 4 living brothers that were pushed by their father into wrestling.
Kurt Von Erich, correct?
Was the dad?
Yeah, and he was a famous wrestler.
And he was a wrestler before that, and ultimately when his kids were old enough to be wrestlers, he was, I think he owned did he own NWA? Or was he was the promoter or the booker at NWA or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think he was the owner, but I can't say for sure.
Or maybe it wasn't NWA, maybe it was WCCW. It was one of those. It kind of hops back and forth, but the craziness that family went through is insane. Y'all need to watch it. It's on Netflix, called Iron Claw. I think a lot of people have canceled their Netflix at this point, which, you know, to each its own. But that's a good one to watch.
Yeah, and who's that stars in it? He was in High School Musical.
Yeah, Zac Efron.
Yeah, Zac Efron. I heard he did an incredible job.
He did, but he looks so old. How old is he now?
He would be 30s.
Yeah, he looked a lot older than he looked like.
30s.
Now he was supposed to be in his 20s in the movie, but he looked like he was 50 something.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of prosthetics on him. Now his body was his, but I think they definitely did some prosthetics with his face. And now they say, which I mean I can kind of see it, that it looks like he's had plastic surgery.
He's 38.
38, okay.
Yeah, he looks
very different.
Yeah.
Shockingly different.
He looks kind of emo in the, well, I don't know which is, oh yeah. I can see, look at the difference here on the camera.
He's had his chin widened, his head widened. What the heck?
Yeah, dude. He's he looks a lot different.
He looks like a parody of himself.
Oh man, Hollywood's a weird place, dude.
Yeah, it is.
All right, 205-545-9950. Yeah, y'all go watch that movie. Also, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake rocking the southern Philippines last night. Talk a little bit about that. And on the political side of things, the L.A. mayor's race took a major turn over the weekend. I got all that and more coming up.
She's not your baby, baby. She's not your. She's not your baby.
Yeah. Jake hit us up. He said, can my buddy, this is our buddy Irons Ford from the podcast.
Yeah.
He says, can my buddy Reed get a shout out? He's moving from South Florida to Tuscaloosa and loves the show. They've been back and forth for a few months. So shout out to Reed in the house.
Come on, Reed. Welcome aboard. Hey Now Nation.
Reed is now part of the Hey Now Nation, baby. What's up, buddy? And he's moving from South Florida. I wonder what part of Florida. I wonder if it's Tampa. You know, my sister is about to take a vacation down to St. Pete.
Really?
Yeah, so, that's where our OTL crew is. Of course, Lummy and all those guys, but also Stacy G, Bob Cook.
Bob Cook.
I was thinking about, while my sister is down there, finding out where she's at, and then getting Stacy G and Bob Cook to maybe, kind of ambush her and be like, oh, my God, are you Abby Mclain? And then saying, oh, we're, big fans of your brother's podcast, and I just so, and make it seem random.
That's
and,
funny.
Freak her out. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And never reveal it.
And never tell her. But you had my listeners come up to you? That's crazy. Because they could just say that they saw her on the podcast and recognized her out in public.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Stacy G and Bob Cook would be willing to do that.
You know they would. They're crazy. Dumb dancer. They're crazy.
And then I get them to record it and get her so we can see her reaction. That would be hilarious. She'd be like, oh, my God, I'm so tired of hearing about my brother's show. Yeah. So, anyway, Reed, welcome to Tuscaloosa there, buddy. And listen, moving to Tuscaloosa, a lot of wild things happen in T-Town, being a college town. So, this shout-out's being brought to you by Chuck Davis, chuckdavislaw.com. If you're down in T-Town and you find yourself in some trouble, maybe I don't know, maybe you knock somebody up, get married, and then need a divorce. Chuck Davis has got you covered. Divorce, custody, wills, probate, contracts, personal injury, wrongful death, slip and fall, car wrecks, any of these things, Chuck Davis has got you. And that's not it. There's a lot of other stuff that he can handle as well. But if you have something that's so outside of the box, he's got a network of the best attorneys around and will at the very least send you in the right direction. So give him a call. And speaking of personal injury, if you've got a situation where you can't get to Chuck's office, Chuck will actually come to you or he'll meet you somewhere and talk about your issues or your case because he's that type of guy. He don't mind coming to see you. He's a friend of mine, but he's also my attorney. And so make sure you mention me when you talk to him. 205-823-9992. That's 205-823-9992. Online at chuckdavislaw.com. No representation is made that the legal services provided are superior to the legal services provided by other lawyers. So a powerful 7.8, John Bird, 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the southern coast of Mindanao. It struck off the coast of the Philippines early this morning, local time, unleashing severe shaking across General Santos City and nearby provinces, toppling parts of buildings, triggering tsunami warnings.
Oh, man.
And leaving at least one person dead with several others injured. It hit about 7:37 in the morning Philippine Standard Time, with its epicenter located roughly 8 miles west of General Santos City. It says the German Research Center of Geosciences initially reported the quake as a magnitude 8.2.
That's up there, man.
Before later revising it downward to 7.8, but still, that's a big, huge earthquake. And it shows buildings literally imploding. I've never been in an earthquake, but I imagine that's got to be some scary-ish. So, crazy stuff happening overseas. But crazier stuff happening here at home. LA's mayor's race coming up next. 205 545 9950. 545-9950. I'm looking through here. Man, everybody's got August birthdays, dude.
Yeah, they do. I was noticing that.
Dang, Coles. Dang. All right, so let's have story time, John Bird.
All right.
So remember in the LA mayor's race, Spencer Pratt, who was an anomaly that showed up, he had his house burnt down in the Palisades, right, during the big fires.
Mm-hmm.
He was living between a camper and a hotel since then. They have not been handing out permits. I mean, they finally started handing out permits after Donald Trump got involved, and the federal government kind of pushed it through to where people could start rebuilding. But that took a very long time, as you know, because the Palisades fires, how long ago was that? Over a year?
Yeah, well over a year.
And so Spencer Pratt said, you know what? I'm going to run, and I'm going to run as a Republican, which very bold to do in L.A. But he said, I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to preach this message of, cleaning up homelessness and drugs and getting people their permits and whatever else, all the things he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And he really connected with a lot of people. Now, normally a Republican wouldn't even have a chance in L.A.
Mm-mm.
But Election Day happened a week from tomorrow, but last Tuesday, and Spencer Pratt was just hanging in there, man, and he essentially kept Karen Bass from getting to the 50% threshold, which forces it to a runoff, and he was comfortably in second place. And so he was going to be in the runoff. It was going to be Karen Bass versus Spencer Pratt, which was really good for him, and maybe it even given him a shot. Now, a lot of us were worried that Spencer Pratt couldn't win because of the Democrat machine and the voter fraud and everything else. And that, in fact, turned out to be true because over the weekend, his big lead over the third place candidate, which was Nithya Raman, she all of a sudden had a surge of mail-in ballots that came in and jumped her up to second place, essentially putting Spencer Pratt out of the race, even though he had solidified himself as being in the runoff. And if you look at the charts, this is amazing. You got Karen Bass, who was at the top the entire time, and she had this steady incline, going up from, 100,000 votes to 200,000 and then, 250,000 votes. And then Spencer Pratt was kind of the same thing, but he was trailing behind Karen Bass. And then you had this Nithya Raman, who was not very popular. She just wasn't. She was she was about like Karen Bass. She was an L.A. City Councilwoman, and she just, she didn't really have any support at all. And then all of a sudden, over the weekend, on between June 6th and June 7th, which was the past 2 days, she just shot up like a rocket and surpassed one Spencer Pratt. And what happened, how she did that, is because of mail-in ballots. Here's the thing. Once you get halfway through the vote counting for in-person voting, and then the first few tranches of mail-in ballots, you get an idea of where somebody's going to land because you see the trends, right? There is a trend of who the people of Los Angeles are voting for. We're not talking about a statewide election where different parts of the state have different points of view. Like this part of the state's liberal and this part of the state's conservative. We're talking about one city, right? A very concentrated area. Even though LA's big, it's still just a city. And so the trend showed Spencer Pratt was absolutely going to land in second place. And then all of a sudden, they get this load of mail-in ballots, and she just shoots up out of nowhere, not reflecting any of the other votes that came in. As a matter of fact, there were ballot dumps, mail-in ballot dumps that came in that did not have a single vote for Spencer Pratt. And the LA Times were like, well, yeah, that was a glitch. A glitch? A glitch that kept a candidate from having a single solitary vote?
Well, if it's a glitch, it should be investigated.
It was more than a glitch. And that's what Democrats do. That's what the Democrat Party does. It's why mail-in ballots are so important to them. Because, and it's why mail-in ballots don't get counted until well after Election Day. Because the mail-in ballots, even though they've got them well before Election Day and could go ahead and start counting, they wait till after Election Day so they can see where they're at, see who's in what position, and see how many votes they need for a particular candidate. In this case, Nithya Raman needed more votes. She was in third place. She was the person that not a lot of people were supporting. And all of a sudden, in just a few batches of mail-in ballots, she just has a ton of votes. It's obvious what happened there.
Well, yeah, knocked him out of second place. Knocked him out of second place, and then here we go, we have our new mayor.
There was such little support for Nithya Raman that she had already conceded the race. She had already come out and said her parting words, thank you to my campaign, thank you to my supporters. We fought really hard. We just wanted to do the right thing for Los Angeles, but we couldn't make it happen. This was just a few days ago. She was sobbing because she knew, based on the math, that she had lost the race.
I've been a candidate for something as long as you can remember. And you've had to live through it with me. And you've been so patient through all of it. Thank you. Kanan Kaveri, I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
She was polling in single digits. She bombed at the debate. She was in a historically insurmountable third place. But yet, the machine took over. And all of a sudden, she shot up to second place. Crazy. Again, I can't emphasize enough the fact that we're talking about a city. Not a state, not a diverse state where some parts are red and some parts are blue. We're talking about a city, which makes it much easier to poll. When she's polling in single digits in this race, when she's pulling 8-9% support in the polls, like that is a reflection of reality when it's a citywide race. They're not having to poll people all across the state. They just poll people in the city. She had no support. She had no momentum. She had nothing going for her. Until they started counting the mail-in ballots a week after Election Day. And so here she is. It's quite amazing. And now, Steve Hilton, who has got a lead in the governor's race, which will also end up in a runoff, he's looking at this as he's the Republican in the governor's race. He's looking at this saying to himself, there's no way they're going to let me win the governor's race. Because now it's a two-man race. It's him and Barrera, Xavier Barrera, which was he was in the Obama administration. I think he was head of HHS or something. I can't remember what position he held. But did I say Barrera? Becerra is his name, Xavier Becerra. He's the Democrat. Steve Hilton is the Republican. And he came in first in the primary. And now they're in the runoff. And he's looking at this going, there ain't no way. There ain't no way the machine is going to let me win. Especially knowing what they know about how they were going to Skid Row. And this is obviously just in Los Angeles, but in the LA race, they were going to homeless drug addicts, having them register to vote, and if they were, getting them to fill out ballots, and likely in exchange for money, as we've seen. I mean, it's on video. They're giving people money, cigarettes, toiletries, gift cards. They're like literally, sometimes they give them cash. They give them $2 or $3 cash just to register to vote. People that don't even have addresses, they have them make up addresses. And this is happening in front of our faces, in front of the faces of Californians. And now they're about to have a statewide race that's going to affect everybody. There are large swaths of California that are red. And they have lived under this Democrat rule for years and watched their beautiful state get destroyed by these people. I'm curious to how they respond if a similar situation plays out in the general election, in the general election for California. I think I said earlier a runoff for California governor. They're not going to have a runoff. They have a system where it's not party versus party in the general election. They just go through their primary, and then the top two candidates face off in the general election. And normally that works out for Democrats because the top two, in a lot of cases, end up being Democrats. And so the DNC doesn't have to worry about a Republican winning at all. They just have a Democrat versus a Democrat. But in this case, they've got a very popular Steve Hilton versus Becerra. And they're probably going to screw him over too. So the federal government and the U.S. attorney in California, first assistant U.S. attorney for the Central District of California, which his name is, I think it's Asaley. He was highlighting just the other day the Democrats in California stonewalling the dangerous loopholes that allowed non-citizens and fraudsters to cast ballots in California, all while the state hands out free health care to illegal immigrants. So he puts in this X post, Bill Asaley. He said, California Democrats are actively fighting to keep their voter rolls hidden from federal scrutiny. He said it comes, let's see, he didn't mince words. He revealed that for over a year, the Department of Justice, working with Assistant Attorney General Harmy Dillon, has been trying to conduct a comprehensive audit of California's voter rolls to ensure only eligible U.S. citizens are registered to vote in federal elections. California has refused to comply, hiding behind bogus state privacy claims that don't apply to the federal government. That case is now before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Here's what he says. He said, California allows first-time voters to register using forms of ID that most Americans would find surprising, including gym membership cards, employer ID cards, credit or debit cards, prescription drug labels, or an insurance card. which California provides free health coverage to illegal immigrants. So even the illegals have insurance cards so they could easily go register to vote. You see how that works? And they know that. They send it up that way. That's how loose the laws are. And so when the federal government comes into California and says, hey, we want to make sure that only eligible voters are voting and that are on your voter rolls, they say, no, you can't see them. Why? Well, because we think you're going to mess around and kick legal voters off of our voter rolls till it benefits you. You're going to mess with them. The easiest thing to do is just say, all right, I'll give you a copy of it. When you send it back, I'll see who's missing. And if you've knocked off people that are eligible to vote, we'll call you out and we'll show the American people. But no, they won't even let them see it. And part of it is because voting. Part of it's because of the fraud. They're fighting them on the fraud, too. Brooke Rollins just came out. She said, we found 200,000 dead people getting food stamps. This is in red states, by the way. 200,000 dead people that are still getting food stamps. And you can imagine that it's a family member or some other fraudster that's collecting the food stamps from their dead loved one and using them. And 500,000 more are getting more than one type of benefit. Social Security check, welfare, food stamps, whatever. She said, that's just some of the numbers out of red states. She said, we don't even know about blue states because blue states are suing us to prevent us from seeing how many people are committing fraud. So it goes from welfare, stealing money from the American taxpayer, all the way to the ballot box. And each and every time, you're the one that gets screwed over. Dude, Nick Nice just told me his birthday is on August 7th.
Come on down, Nick. Let's party.
So I'm 5, you're 6, he's 7? That's crazy.
Yeah. Trifecta, baby.
Yeah. I was listening to him over the weekend. On Sundays, he's got a broadcast. It's like, I think it's like 12 to 6. And it's on Destin FM. You can listen online. You download the app called Destin FM. It's a radio station out of Destin. And it's called the Be Nice Show. And I usually jam out to it on Sundays. Hook it up to my Bluetooth speaker.
I'll have to check that out, man.
Jam out. And they play music, and, he has segments that he does or whatever, but the music is just all kinds of genres. It could be current top 40 hits, or it could be like 80s music or whatever. Like, it's just a little bit of everything. So it really it's a sense of nostalgia unlike anything you'll find on radio, because I don't get to catch music radio anymore. I got too much going on. I'm having to listen to news and look around online or listen to shows here. But I always enjoy listening to him. Plus, he's my radio hero from back in the day. August 7th, man. Crazy. Crazy. Coming up next, I got an update on Scott Pelley. Unemployed Scott Pelley. He actually did an interview over the weekend, and he cried. I know you're shocked.